remembered again. So I'll be right back. My precious, my birthday present. See, I got a lovely gift from a good friend of mine. It was my birthday last Sunday. Yes, and we got this beautiful pendant again from a dear friend. Very cool. I'm going to put it on for the reading. Amethyst, darkest amethyst I've ever seen. Very neat. We love that deep purple here on this channel. Hello, this is Mama Alia, bringing you live. It's been over a week. I'm sorry I haven't been around. I've just been very busy. I was very busy since the last video. I work, you know, um, yeah, I had a lot of stuff going on with work. My hours got kind of extended through that last week, a couple weeks ago. And then I went on a trip with my family. And, I've just been recovering from that mostly. I had a market last weekend, which after a whole full week of work, it was an entire day of a market where I had to get up early and all of this stuff. Then we went to on our trip, which was a long drive. It was a lot of walking around. It was a lot of movement and things like that. So, then what did we do? Then I came back and I had like 2 days of kind of a break. And then getting back into things. This next week is us getting back to work. Tomorrow we're looking at our regular schedule. Hello, welcome in. I'm just kind of updating on what's been going on with me, why I haven't been going live as much lately. My energy has been spread very thin between work and family stuff, but we're getting back to our regular schedule tomorrow. Things are still going to be pretty hectic for me personally. I'm not sure. Yeah, you guys may or may not be aware, I'm also a musician. And so I'm looking at kind of trying to pick at my options, look at my options as far as partnerships in music go and stuff. I want to be able to assemble a band that can and will play shows and be available for that and stuff. So, Korn, I'm more of a Korn fan than Slipknot to the people in the chat. Hello, people. Today we're doing tarot. We're going to throw some cards and stuff. I do also play guitar. I actually have my guitar with me. Devil card. Hey. Ooh, devil, death, devil, evil songs. Just kidding. I play gospel music. No, I don't play gospel. But I like some devotional tunes. Anyway, I was just catching people up. If you're a returning viewer, or, if you just are bored and care to listen, or have my voice droning on in the background, I just was going over like work updates, life updates, and stuff in a kind of generic sense. So we're going to draw an oracle card. We're going to draw another oracle card. And then we're going to draw a card, 3 cards from the Bay Area Tarot. 3 cards for different areas of the life. So 3 cards for work and money, etc., etc. Your materials, okay? Your material situation, whether that is work and finance or it's like your living situation, your shelter, your location, all of that kind of thing. The things that pertain to your 3D life, we're going to do 3 cards for that. We're going to do 3 cards for relationships. That could be a love relationship. That could be something that's been bothering you in your interpersonals or been on your mind. Um, and then we're going to do three for spiritual aspect and stuff, the spiritual development, the spiritual growth. And more than likely, what we usually see is that it's the same message in different forms in the different categories, because things are not disconnected. Everything is connected. All things are one and stuff. So it's like finding out what is the common theme, the commonality, and addressing that on a deeper level. Or even just like sometimes we have to take the actions to address a certain issue, and that helps us to resolve things on the inside too. So, yeah, Got the Life is a great song. That's actually one of my favorites of theirs also. But they've got other songs that are great, you know. I haven't been keeping up with their newer music, so but that's because I stopped liking them for a while. I wasn't feeling where they were taking the music after See You on the Other Side. And so, like, I stopped listening for a minute, but then I went back and listened to one of the albums that they released after that, and it was good. I was enjoying it. Three of Wands. Are we going to get to it? Three of Wands. Okay, then we're in a playful socializing mode. Okay, I don't have no time today, but I do have a little bit of a limit because I have a friend coming over. We're going to play music. Okay. Before I start drawing cards for us, let's everybody in the class take a breath in. Breathe up from your toes to your heart. Breathe in. And breathe out. We're going to connect to the earth by visualizing a cord of energy coming up from the core with our breath. Breathing up to the crown. And breathing out through the crown. This is removing our energy blockages along the spinal column, kind of shaking them loose, okay? Next, we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to activate our source energy from within with our breath, okay? Take a deep breath in. As your energy activates, you start glowing brighter and brighter, holding and release. All the light within, expanding in every direction, removing any blockages, obstructions, distortions in our energy field, okay? We are clear in the mind. We are in a space of protection and connection to the highest frequencies possible, frequencies of unconditional love, acceptance, all right, forgiveness, grace, truth. Inviting in any of your guides that you work with, any spiritual entities, any thought forms that are for your benefit, okay? Not the ones that you cling to or that cling to you, all right? Ooh, that are not serving. All right, here we go. Water, the overflow. This is the water element card in the Beyond Lemuria deck. Let's check out some of that symbology, yeah? Water, the element of the emotions, of the intuition. We have the heart. This is our magnetic center of our spiritual body. Okay, and even physically, it is shown to have an electromagnetic field, okay? See here. The roses, those are symbols of transmutation and transformation, alchemical symbols. They are kind of white, but they're kind of opalescent, so they've got a little bit of every color in them. So white is purity, divinity, and then the rainbow energy represents like the full spectrum of being and of existence. And then there's like an eyeball at the center of the roses. So this is like God's eye, or the eye of the divine, seeing through from the center of transformation and transmutation, okay? Growth, beauty and pain intertwined. The thorns are a form of protection for the plant, okay? Let me see here. We've got lotus diamonds, lotus gems on lily pads, all right? The chakras, for instance, are conceptualized as lotuses and or gems sometimes, okay? So that's what we got to say about that. I'm going to read from the back of the card. It has a nice little message about the card. All right. Water, the overflow. The being in the picture has many hands, and yet water falls through her fingers. It blesses her in the moments it touches her radiant skin and continues on its journey. Her heart is also overflowing with love. Her eyes are filled with tears. She gracefully allows what comes through to move her without control. Aligned with purpose, she is overjoyed to give from this limitless place, and she radiates so much light into the world. Give more from a place of overflow than obligation. Ooh, even when we think we have nothing to give, coming from a mindset of overflow creates more of what we want. Ponder that. And I got this little peek of the violet flame. Again, transmutation energy, third eye energy, heart energy. Okay, let's look at what this is like our message for the week. Balance things out by like saying, do I have an abundance to give from here? You know? Whether that's like advice or time or physical energy of some kind, okay? Mental energy, do I have capacity, space to hold these things for this person or for this situation? You know, ask yourselves those things and make your decisions to give based on that. Because the more that we give, the more that we get. And the quality of what we give helps to determine the quality of what's going to come back. So, this is an interesting card here. 2, Alpha Centaurians. Foresight, planning, strategy. All right, so you can't plan for everything, right? But you can plan out a lot of things. So, like, that's another thing, too, that I was thinking about saying, kind of, I think it kind of sort of relates, because it's like, you have to think about, or at least, like, feel into what capacity that you have in your energy to, like, be able to give more, right? And stuff, and then so that does involve a little bit of strategy. But let's look a little more deeply into what the booklet says about number 2 card. Alpha Centaurians. Alpha Centaurians are cool. They're amphibious. Part land, part water. Temperance energy. Okay, and Centaur. Sagittarius. Okay. I'm going to read the green upright means because it came out upright. Strategy, negotiations, speculation, tactics, foresight, hindsight, designing, planning, schedule, time management, focused, direct. Okay? So yeah, you can plan everything, and then wherever you have space, if it's not going to drain you to give from that extra space, do so. Alpha Centaurians reside at Centaurus constellation located between Lupus and Vela constellations. It is said Alpha Centaurians will only make contact with humans during specific cosmic timings, and only with humans that have developed enough conscious awareness to not agitate the higher violet frequency bandwidth they are accustomed to. We just saw, okay, we talked a little bit about the violet flame. All right. Sources suggest Alpha Centaurians are intolerant of disrespect and overly idealized fantasies that are not in keeping with natural law. True. They stand about 5.5 to 8 feet in height, with a humanoid appearance and some aquatic-type features and organs. They have webbed fingers and toes. Their flesh is usually pale bluish, with a soft, smooth, scale-like quality. Many have long hair. Their eyes are large in proportion, bulging and roundish. They usually have an athletic build. Okay, this is just, okay. They are very straightforward and direct communicators when negotiating, yet always respectful. Usually vegetarian or vegan with a strict diet. So maybe we have to pay a little more attention to our nutrient intake. Okay, the kinds that we take in. Meal planning could be important right now. Am I listening to myself? They also cannot bear Earth's intense sunlight. Some occupy small, deep ocean regions on Earth and are often associated with Agarthan USO phenomena. They are highly advanced and are strong allies with Syrians, Pleiadians, and Venusians. Okay, interesting. So the lovers, the um, I heard the Pleiadians are the cool kids, and the Syrians are like they're the ones that the Dogon tribe were talking to, I think. Anyways, so planning. Yes, give. Yes, be free with your love and your attention, affection, right? But also make time to plan and strategize for your benefit, okay? Because that will benefit and add to your overflow, okay? Now we're ready for the tarot, okay? We drew our oracle card, water, the overflow, and Alpha Centaurians who are amphibious, live in the water, okay? They love the deep water. All right. And that's also, I'm going to just mention, that's been a recurring theme also in some of the readings. I've been getting a lot of water portal energy. So it's like I was sitting down with my kids the other day and we were watching Demon Slayer, and they were talking about, I don't remember the main character's name, Tanjiro, Bagheera. He was talking about dreaming that he was going to cross over to the other side, but he fell off the bridge into a river, and then he was going through down into the river to pick up, and he found a treasure at the bottom. And then what the reader was saying was that like there's like the buoyancy point in the deep waters, right, where you lose buoyancy because pressure, the dense pressure from all of the amount of water above you actually starts pushing you down, so you don't have any buoyancy past a certain point in the deep waters, like about 15 to 20 feet, right? So that's physically. Spiritually and astrally, water is a portal. It will take you to the other world. Yes, you're going to need to have your wits about you. Even physically, if you want to explore the depths, you have to have special equipment, special gear, right? Protection. And it's the same thing spiritually, going through the portals and stuff. Make sure you're protected. Make sure your game is up, okay? All right. I'm going to shuffle to 8. This is 6. And here's 7. We're going to draw 3 for the material world, 3 for the relationship space, which is the last shuffle, and 3 for our spiritual journey. Ooh, that looks good, okay? The Wheel of Fortune, things are changing. Hopefully the wheel is spinning in our favor. Yes, let's look. I'm turning them face down first because I'm feeling very much like in the mystery today. Okay, here we go. We're excited. Ooh, 6 of Wands reversed. Maybe check the ego. Okay, all right. Wheel of Fortune. Again, Sagittarius, Jupiter expansion energy. By the way, amethyst, I was talking about my amethyst pendant earlier and stuff. Connecting to that violet energy that we're talking about too, like, is also connected to Sagittarius and Jupiter, and I didn't know that until recently, okay? So, first card could be a challenge or an energy that is dominant in the space of your material stuff. Material matters. Work, money, shelter, living situation, whatever it is. Okay, let's take a look. High Priestess reversed. Okay, we're not listening to our intuition, or we're feeling creatively or intuitively blocked for some reason. Okay, maybe there's a situation that got exposed. Also, because the High Priestess is about secrets, and so she's upright, it can also mean things getting out. Okay. So if that's something that's been a problem, it's always best to try and rectify that by going within and maintaining your inner balance, okay? Your connection to your intuition. But let's see what our main advice is for the situation. Okay? Eight of Cups upright. What I was just saying, going within and connecting to our intuition, okay? Going to a higher, getting a higher perspective from this space of connection to our emotions and intuition, okay? All right, and then the outcome. So even the space of the material realm is connected to the spiritual, the emotional. Okay, let's see what the outcome is. Whew, maybe having to withdraw a little bit. Maybe having to stay in our own lane kind of energy. Time to, we're going to be able to get some rest, some healing, okay? Oh, I heard cord cutting. I'm drawn to this sword here that's hanging right here. And it looks like it's going through the curtain or the drape that she's got here, the wrapping. So it's like, it could look like a cord cutting. You might have to cut a cord with a situation, especially if, I'm embarrassment, especially if you're feeling any kind of embarrassment or shame or anything like that. Of course, take any lessons that you need to face and deal with head on. All right, but then like just cut it off because there's only so much to gain. Let it flow out, whatever needs to be released and flow out. And then when it's done, when it stops feeling like you can kind of recognize when you're trying to squeeze too much of the emotional juice out of the stone, you know? All right, so especially if you've been doing this a while and practicing your awareness for a while, then it becomes more and more clear and stuff when you're just like trying to squeeze juice that isn't there anymore, okay? So that's your material situation. Okay, it's being affected by something that's been exposed or by somebody not being balanced with their intuition and or their creativity or both, okay? And so the solution to that is taking some time to meditate, especially with the Eight of Cups, to get a higher perspective, and moving on, just moving on, okay? Going within and moving on also. And the outcome is healing. Okay, it's going to take time, so give yourself patience, grace, give everybody in the situation patience and grace, okay? Maintain healthy boundaries is what I've heard, okay? But do set those boundaries from a place of peace and clarity. Don't do it from the place of woundedness, okay? Yeah, because that's going to be more powerful for you and more beneficial and actually healthy and balanced for the situation, all right? Okay. Next area here, we've got our relationship space. Now, this could pertain to romantic relationships, friendships, work relationships, any kind of, or familial relationships, whatever kind that resonates with you. We're going to see what comes up. I'm very excited. Oh, judgment energy. Okay. So this is something that has occurred or is occurring as a challenge. Okay. So judgment, maybe feeling a bit called out. This is also a great card that has like a lot of revival, resurrection energy. Okay, so it's like, yes, we are moving up. Okay, we are going to another level. Okay, yes, we are experiencing our awakening anew. You know, we're seeing the world with new eyes. So in a sense, this judgment card is kind of a celebration. You know, that's not Gabriel. This is a person, an artist and stuff. But in the traditional tarot, it's the Archangel Gabriel, and he's like the messenger and stuff. So there's a message that's being shown to you through your relationship space, okay? And here we go. Right after the Judgment card, we have the World card, okay? Taking in all of the lessons that you've learned through your relationships and using them to kind of prepare you to walk through this new portal and integrating those lessons to become a more informed, more balanced version of yourself that is at home in their being, okay? How cool is that? 20 to 21. So there's a sequence here. If we have the Fool card or the Magician, that's going to be incredible. What do we have? Oh, ouch! Okay, Ace of Swords reversed, okay? So I'm going to draw clarifiers on this probably. What I'm hearing is false opportunities being avoided, falseness being exposed, okay? So this it might be connected to the work situation or the material situation because we have this exposure card here. This is a card usually that represents a false start or a no or a deception of some kind, an illusion or deception of some kind. So, okay, but I feel like this is something that's being overcome and not that you are going to run into head first, okay? Definitely, I feel like the Ace of Swords reversed could be, with the World card right there, it's like the world is able to kind of go completely over it. So even if it does happen and we're caught off guard, it's not anything that's going to get in your way. Okay? So we're going to draw clarifiers on that in a bit, but I want to see what else we got going on. Okay. This is in our spiritual sphere. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So there's things that we're intentionally not seeing clearly. We have to clear the clutter of the mind. It's so funny. This is related to work, and she's like one of the most spiritual cards and figures in this deck, right? And she's in the workspace. And then we have the Queen of Swords, who's all logic and rationality in the spiritual space, okay? So maybe what it is that there's like some sort of idea or perception that you have that's not serving you in the spiritual sphere. It's like kind of creating a block to perceiving things more clearly in that area of your life. Okay, so yeah, so I think that there's a mental blockage that needs to be cleared in that area. Let's see what the advice is. Ah, the Lovers, communication, integration. This is a card of integration. This is also a card of integration, integrating the divine masculine and feminine, the left and right brains, the anima and the animus, okay? This is, of course, also the Lover's card. This is choices. Watch your choices. Use your wit, your knowledge, okay, to make better choices for yourself. Healthier, happier choices for yourself. Okay, put yourself on that pedestal, baby. Okay, not in like a narcissistic, selfish way where it's like, you know, where you're sacrificing all others to your sense of self, but like, but in a balanced way because you are occupying this vessel that is your form, okay? Your consciousness, your observer is in that form, okay? So you must honor it, all right? But honoring your own does not, you know, automatically assume the dishonoring of another, okay? Balance, communication, okay? Everybody has value, all right? And let's see what the outcome is. Okay, Nine of Wands. I like this because this is, to me, it can represent healing. Again, there's delay here. There's waiting kind of energy. Hesitation is more strongly connected to the Nine of Wands. Ace of Swords with a false start. We're going to get a clarifier on this Ace of Swords here in reverse. This was in the relationship aspect, the outcome. Okay, it's a little strange. We have the majors and then we have the minor in reverse. So it's like, okay, what's going on here? I'm shuffling 7 times. I'm going to draw 1 or 2, maybe 3 cards for the Ace of Swords reversed. does this mean? Five and 6. 6, 7. Okay. All the kids are saying 6, 7. Did you notice that? Isn't that funny? I think it's kind of funny. All right. 6 of Swords reversed. So, Six of Swords reversed is like not making progress. Okay, so you're still going to feel stuck for some reason, okay? And it has to do with a mental block. Because, like I said, everything's kind of connected. So there's a mental block. In the Eight of Cups, in the World card, and in the Lovers card, we have figures on the move. Okay, Six of Swords is also about travel, but it's in reverse, so this movement is being blocked. It's being blocked by the mental energy, the swords, not listening to your intuition, okay? The swords energy is all over this place, okay? With Queen of Swords, Four of Swords, Ace of Swords, Six of Swords, all right? And most of them are in reverse. The only thing that's clear and upright is the Four of Swords, so you do need rest, and you're going to get that rest when you go within, okay? So there might be a seemingly a delay or a seemingly like a false start while these things are happening, while you're integrating, while you're listening to your intuition or picking up on your messages, okay? We have Four of Pentacles. This is also for the Ace of Swords reverse. Stuck. Four of Cups. Stuck. Okay? Let's see what the last card is. Knight of Cups reversed, okay? Not moving forward, okay? Yeah, mental block. King of Swords reversed. So, you need to start learning how to communicate, to speak your mind, okay? Don't be afraid of hurting people's feelings. That doesn't mean to be severe. It doesn't mean to be rash. It doesn't mean to be hurtful, okay? There's like a guideline, okay? When speaking the truth, 1, is it true? 2, is it necessary? 3, is it kind? Okay? Those are the 3 things to take into consideration. If there's 2 of the things that are present and it's outweighing one of those things, speak on it. Okay? And that's a pretty good barometer. So I think that, yeah, we're having a hard time opening up. Or we're embarrassed by past experiences where we did. So it's created this mental block to doing so. Let me see here. Let me see Queen of Swords reverse. What's up with Queen of Swords reverse? Why do we have Queen of Swords reverse in our spiritual area? Strength card, confidence issues, okay? Gentleness, wisdom, patience. We could have had a lack of those things, or sometimes our compassion can override our ability to act in a way that we think that we probably otherwise should or would, you know? So let me see here. What is our advice in the spiritual realm with the Lovers? What does that mean? Give me a card for the Lovers. The Full reverse. Look before you leap. Don't be impulsive. Okay? So pausing before. So yeah, so I think somebody said something, okay? And they're trying hard to unlearn that impulsivity in their communication. Okay? All right, learning from your mistakes. Let's see what the outcome for Nine of Wands is represented by. Let's see what this card is going to be clarified with. Let it be a clarifier for Nine of Wands as our outcome. Okay, that's too many, but I'm going to take this first card. Three of Cups. We saw Three of Wands earlier. Playful energy. Okay, manifesting. Coming in, gifts. Ooh, great. Okay. This energy is reunion energy, connection, socializing. Okay, sometimes it's a little gossipy. Okay, but you're going to be holding back. on those more toxic aspects because of what you've learned here. Temperance, we're not going to be temperance reversed. Okay, we're going to come to temperance upright. Okay? So maybe, or avoiding situations where you're going to be brought to this imbalance. Okay? Let's see here. What else we got? Anything else that we need to be aware of in these three areas of our life, our materials, our relationships, and our spiritual life? Page of Pentacles, you are a student. Okay? Take the L's. There are lessons. Okay? Learn from them. Okay? You have loyal friends around you in your material realm. Okay? You have also your guardian spirits with you always. Okay? And remember the things that you've learned. Okay? Pages, again, are communication also. So be aware of what people are telling you, that it's coming from a place of realness. Okay? Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, Ace of Swords reversed. Yeah, I think that's like learning to hold back a little bit. Okay? Not to give everything away, and so maybe that's why it's reversed and stuff. That's why we're not really moving forward. We're still learning how to balance this energy with the communication. Seven of Wands came out in reverse also. So that's releasing ourselves from conflict and competition. Okay? Just drawing from that. And then Queen of Cups too. That's cool. And the Death card. Transformation. Okay, trust your intuition. Get into your fifis, baby. Okay? Not to wallow, but to refresh. Okay? And that's all I've got today. I gotta go. Got stuff to do. Hanging out. Playing music. Alright? Thank you for coming in. Hope to see you again. I'll be posting more frequently, hopefully. Bye. And goodbye. And goodbye.